Welcome to Tech Talks, sponsored by Vision Loss Alliance of New Jersey. VLA offers an array of program offerings from an independent living skills program to mobile technology, iPhone, iPad training, computer training in our learning lab, and a wellness program providing a holistic approach to the adjustment to vision loss. If you're interested in learning more about our in-person programs or learning more about our virtual enrichment opportunities, please contact me, Linda Grosef, at 973-627-0055, prompt number 4. Tonight, we are very honored to have with us Judith.
Meeting hosted by VLANJ meeting host with 27 participants.
Dr. Dixon is a Consumer Relations Officer at the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled, Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. During her 41 years at the library, she has been concerned with all aspects of reading and access to information by people with print limitations. In recent years, the advent of new technologies has brought about an increased availability of information access to many types of assistive devices and services, and she has been in the forefront. Dr. Dixon earned a BA from Stetson University, DeLand, Florida in 1974, an MA from Adelphi University, Garden City, New York, in 1976, and a PhD in clinical psychology, also from Adelphi in 1980. In addition to publishing numerous articles, she edited the volume Braille into the Next Millennium, published by the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped, Library of Congress in 2000. She served as the chair of the Braille Authority of North America from 2007 through 2011, and secretary of the International Council on English Braille, ICEB, from 2008 to 2016. She continued to serve on ICEB's executive committee, and in 2020, she was elected president of ICEB. Among her many awards, Dr. Dixon was the 2005 recipient of the Francis Joseph Campbell Award from the American Library Association for her many years of excellent work in the field of library service for blind and physically handicapped persons, for her pioneering efforts in the area of electronic Braille materials on the internet through the National Library Service Web Braille. She was also the 2009 recipient of the American Foundation for the Blind's Gallagher Award for serving an outstanding role model to others who have vision loss, and 2010 recipient of the American Council of the Blind's Robert S. Bray Award. One of her hobbies is writing books for National Braille Press about things that are important to her. These include Braille and mobile devices. She has authored and co-authored 15 titles. A few of Dr. Dixon's titles are Label It, Braille and Audio Strategies for Identifying Items at Home and Work, Anyone Can Play, Accessible Games for the iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch, and Viewing the World with the iPhone Camera, which will be a part of tonight's program. Before we introduce Dr. Judith Dixon, our Zoom protocol for this evening, please hold your questions until Dr. Dixon cues you. And when ready for questions, we ask that you use the raise your hand feature. For those of you who dial in, the raise your hand feature is *9. *6 will mute and unmute you, giving you the opportunity to ask your questions. If you are on a computer, Alt-Y, raise your hand. Alt-A is the mute and unmute command. Using the Zoom app on the iPad, top right, select the More option on the top of the screen and flick down to raise hand. On the iPhone, this feature is located at the bottom of the screen on the right side. And now we present to you Dr. Judith Dixon. Welcome.
Thank you very much. All right. So I have been asked to talk about my books, and there are a few. Later, I'm going to tell you about the book I'm currently working on. See what you guys think, if you would find it interesting. But I'm going to talk about the books. There's 2 books that I've written about taking pictures with the iPhone. The first one was in 2014, and it was called Get the Picture. And the idea behind that book was essentially that the camera of an iPhone is a really unique opportunity for blind people because we need the camera to do a lot of different things. And in those days, it wasn't nearly as many things as it is now. But I talked about how to use the camera, and then I talked about different apps, such as light detectors and money identifiers and so forth, that use the camera, that you really need to have some camera skills to use those apps well. And that was a pretty exciting book, especially because it did have a lot of, I actually hired a professional photographer to teach me how to take pictures. And it turned out she was really good because she she did some internet searches and found pictures taken by blind people. And she told me, she says, well, I looked at all these pictures taken by blind people, and the biggest problem is they don't realize how important it is to hold the camera still, really, really still for several seconds before you take the picture. So that was kind of interesting, but she was very critical, which was wonderful because that's what I wanted. I didn't want somebody to say, oh yeah, you're doing fine. No, well, maybe it's not fine. And she was wonderful because she was very critical of everything I did, which was fabulous because I could just keep getting better. And so I worked with her for a while and learned a lot about taking pictures and about what I needed to do to make sure that what I was doing came out okay. That was for the first book. But the second book was actually published in 2020, and it's called Capturing and Sharing the World, Taking Photos and Videos with an iPhone. And this book goes a lot further. It goes into much more detail of the camera app. It goes into a lot of detail about how to edit photos, and the newer phones have some interesting features where they actually capture more content than the picture needs. So if you do want to edit the photo, like straighten it because maybe you didn't get it quite at the right angle, it actually has the content to get from its memory to make that straightening work. And that content is saved for 30 days. So this is a very, very, very cool feature for blind people, because when we straighten a photo, we actually have some content to use to do the job. And so the second book is also, I had a real fun time. I took pictures of all kinds of different things and then submitted them to a photographer friend of mine to get his critique. And I published everything he said word for word, no matter how bad it was. And he had a lot of good suggestions and, told me what I'd done wrong and possibly what to do about it and so forth. So it was a really great learning experience that I could share with everybody as I was learning. I mean, I'm not ever gonna take perfect photos, or I know that, but they can get better, because I can be, and it's so much about kind of being mindful of things and being mindful of lots and lots of details about how to make the picture better. But there's so many things that we can do with cameras, and those things, the more we kind of understand how cameras work, and the more we can be patient with them, the better off we'll be. I wouldn't mind a bit if we have a conversation rather than me just babbling at you for half an hour or so. So if the organizers are okay with this, I certainly wouldn't mind answering questions as we go along. What do you think?
Judith, whatever you are comfortable with is fine with me.
Sure.
It's Linda, and I'm happy to manage the hands
Okay.
raised, and we already have a hand raised. So
Good,
look
good.
at that.
Okay, let's do it.
So let's ask one question for now, Stacy. Stacy, you can unmute yourself. Okay, while Stacy unmutes, we'll move over to Christina.
Am I unmuted?
You are good. Yes, thank you.
Judy, I have a question because when you're looking at the editing and photos and it says how to crop and how to do this, like how do you know how to do these things? And what does it mean? How do you get, let's say, the picture to crop? Or
when you select those options, it will actually give you a lot of, it won't tell you what needs to be done. And that's the hard part, is how do you know what needs to be done? But it will tell you, straighten 5 degrees and trim left edge. There's a fair bit of detail about what you're going to be doing when you actually apply these kinds of filters and actions. The trickiest part is that you just don't know what needs to be done. And one of the things that I do, all the pictures I take, I have put into a photo album called Judy's Pics, and Judy's Pics is shared with a friend of mine, and so I can actually put a comment under one of my pictures. Well, how's this one? And he'll write back, this one looks good, but if you trim off the left edge a bit, that would help. So now I know, okay, he doesn't have to do it for me. He just has to tell me what needs to be done. And then I can go into...
How do you know how much, like if you wanted to trim it or straighten it,
you just trim a little bit and see if it's enough. You don't really know. You don't really.
It and then it just does it?
Yes, it just does it. And you can also undo anything you do.
Okay.
And so that's the good part, because it saves everything that you did. And if, oh no, that was too much, you can always undo it.
And what about cropping? What does that really do?
Cropping just cuts off parts of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Stacy, I see you are now unmuted. You want to ask your question, please?
I know that the pictures now and on ads, there's more and more details as I guess as more information it works, I guess, with audio description. I've noticed that with pictures, like on Facebook and that, it's like more and more details as the app gets updated.
There's a lot of apps that are giving us descriptions of pictures as they see it. In the later versions of iOS, as you even look at a picture, even in the Photos app, it will give you some description about the picture. And they're mostly right, but they're not always entirely right. So I think you should take that description with a little bit of caution, because it may not be entirely accurate.
I usually laugh at a lot of them because it's like, okay, I know where this is coming from.
Yeah, right.
Well, because like for example, my cousin, because it'll have a stamp, like a location stamp with it, and I'm like, I know exactly where you are, because it'll say a picture of a beach, and I'm like, and it says LBI, I'm like, I know exactly where you are.
Okay. Thanks, Stacy. Debbie A, you have a question.
Yes, I did. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi.
I have a question about your books. Now, would you advise that it would be beneficial for us to read the first book that you wrote before going on to the second one?
Not at all. No.
It doesn't continue on.
They stand completely independently. And I did a lot of the information just about the basics of picture taking is just revised and updated and expanded in the second book. So the second book is fine to read all by itself. It's it contains everything.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Question. Terry Ann, you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Judy. It's good to talk to you again.
Oh
I hope
gosh,
you're
it's
doing well.
been a way long time. Yes, I remember you.
Yeah. I think the last time I talked to you was when we were the Tech Dogs were meeting, and I was in that meeting with Deborah Kendrick and others, and so on and
Yeah,
so forth.
long time ago.
Yeah. But anyhow, can you comment a little more about if there are any tips and tricks for holding a camera correctly? Whether I just have a terrible time with that, whether I'm trying to take a picture or whether I'm trying to hold my phone above something that I want to scan and read. I've just never been good at that. Is there anything?
I can. There's actually quite a lot in the book about that
Okay.
because I know it's hard for people, and it's really hard to know when something is level. And
Yes.
one of the great ways to do it is to put your two elbows on a hard surface, like the surface of a desk or countertop, something like that. I find myself in the kitchen taking a lot of pictures of packages to find out what on earth this is. And so I put my elbows on the countertop and then hold the, and one of the things you want to do a lot of, not so much for scanning or identifying, but if you're actually taking a photo for people to look at, you want to almost always take that photo in landscape.
Aha.
And one of the things that got me to understand that concept is that vision is landscape. The two eyes are horizontally positioned, and vision, the field of vision that humans see is much wider than it is tall. And so
I don't know that I ever knew that.
Well, people are used to seeing in landscape. So that landscape view is a lot more natural and a lot more comfortable and is what people kind of expect visually. Now, there are times when if you are taking a picture of something very tall and very skinny, you might want to take it portrait, but almost always you want to take your photos landscape. So and that makes it a little easier because it's easier to hold the phone that way. And you can put your elbows on the table and then put, a hand on each end of the phone so that it's level. And the cool thing, the camera app in the latest versions of iOS will actually tell you if it's level. And it'll say, tilt right, tilt left, level. And it will tell you when you're taking a picture. Now, not all the apps do that, and you might be using a different app to take a picture, but the camera app itself, the iOS camera app, will tell you if it's level. And that's really helpful. As far as scanning goes, I do use some kind of, free for all, holding my phone above something to scan it. But I also do use different scanning stands to hold my phone steady, because holding it steady is as important as getting it level and flat and so forth. And a lot of apps, again, Voice Stream Scanner is one of my favorite apps for scanning text, and it does a nice job of telling you if you're level and if you have everything in view. So that's a good way to do it.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, Judy, we have 3 questions.
Good.
3 people in line for questions. Anne-Marie C.
Okay, thanks, Judy.
Hi, Anne-Marie.
I am so glad you're here as a resource because I so value your wonderful suggestions and your experience with all this. So I have questions about getting good close-ups of things in nature because we have a lovely flower garden now, and I like to plant big things because then I can feel where they are, and like irises and peonies and goldenrod, that kind of thing. But how do you hold your hands steady? I find as I age, I'm getting a slight tremor, and I get what you're saying about putting your elbows on a table, but what do you do when you're outdoors and there's no hard surface around? So that's question one. And question two is how, when you have voiceover on, excuse me, you can't, the trade-off is if you take voiceover off, you don't get the audio input, like tilt right, tilt left, etc. But then you also can't get the zoom in and out, I think, that you can if you don't have voiceover on.
You can get it with voiceover on. You all you have to do is use the rotor.
Okay.
And you can rotor to zoom and then flick up and down. And zoom is on the rotor when you're in the camera app.
No kidding. Wow.
So you can do it with voiceover on. If I was gonna, one of the things to remember about close-ups is it's amazing how close you actually have to be to take pictures of really, really tiny things. I mean, within 2 or 3 inches, it's amazing. You really want to get very, very close if it's a small thing. And I think if I was going to do it, I'd find a nice flat rock and or something to just lay on the ground and put your phone on and extend the end of it out or tilt it up but rather than trying to hold it in your hand, I'd find something to put it on out there, even if you have to bring out a cereal box or something, just something to put it on that's going to get it higher than whatever it is you're taking a picture of.
Oh, thanks so much. And one last question. How do you get close-ups of faces so that they don't look bizarre or grotesque?
I don't know very much about that. I have very carefully avoided taking pictures of people. I don't know. That's a good question, and I don't know how you take close-ups of faces without. I haven't taken very many pictures of people. I take a lot of pictures of things, and I mostly take pictures of things because I want to know more about it or get more information about it. And I think that getting more information about people's faces is a potential what's the word, pitfall, for yeah. So
okay.
I haven't done much of that.
Okay, but thanks. Maybe that'll be book 3 in the series.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Anne Marie. Alicia?
Yes. Hi. My question is, I'm listening to all the thing, and I believe you said they were for the iPhone. Do you have any tips for maybe the Android, or maybe if there's like some similarities between the iPhone and the Android with picture taking?
I do have an Android phone because I have to use it for testing Bard Mobile and things like that, but I haven't taken a lot of pictures with it. The complexity of an Android phone is that Android phones vary hugely among the phones. Some of them have very, very high resolution cameras, and their cameras are probably better than iPhone cameras, but the camera app is not consistent across Android phones, whereas on iOS, it is consistent across phones. So it kind of depends a lot on the Android phone that you have and the qualifications of the physical phone itself, and what kind of a resolution that phone is what kind of pictures that phone is going to take.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I've been trying different ways to take pictures. Like if it's I'm trying to think of an example really quickly. Like if it's like a colorful picture, I try to put something that's contrast with the picture, like maybe like a black marker at the top of it and a black at the bottom of it, so I can kind of like that's the frame. So I try to use that as my frame to take the picture. So far, that's the only trick I know with the Android, because the Android doesn't really have any features with the camera that says, you know, oh, you're too
If it's
far,
tilted or something like that.
it
What
doesn't do anything like that.
one of the things that I do, if I'm going to take a picture, especially like something outdoors, I will put I took another phone and had it playing music, and I wanted to take a picture of my cherry tree. So I put this phone playing music, I put it at the trunk of the cherry tree right behind the tree. So it wasn't in the picture, but I could hear it. And I was able to get the tree kind of in the middle of the picture by listening to where the music was coming from. So if you can put an audio source somewhere in your picture, sometimes that helps. Even if it doesn't even matter if it's in the middle, as long as you know where it is, then you can position all the other things around it.
Okay.
That's a great tip.
I will try that. Thank you.
Another, Aaron, you have a question, Aaron.
Have you ever used the app Seeing AI?
Yes, I use Seeing AI a lot.
Yeah, for some reason, sometimes it's tricky to use it to read text because it's hard to make it recognize the camera. Oops.
Aaron, he accidentally got muted. I don't know if something happened maybe in his environment. There you go, Aaron. Okay,
now,
you were muted.
I use Seeing AI, and sometimes I have trouble with it.
Yeah, I use Seeing AI a lot, and probably one of the things you want to do with Seeing AI is when you're taking photos, is to give it a bit of distance, be at least a foot to 18 inches away from what you're unless you're taking a picture of an outdoor scene or something. But if you're taking a picture of an object or a page of text or something like that, you want to be a good 12, 14 inches from your text. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make with an app like Seeing AI is trying to take a picture that's too close.
Yeah, because I thought it was my phone, because I have an older iPhone model, and I always thought it was the camera.
Well, that could help too.
Thanks, Aaron. Debbie, you have a question. Debbie A.
Yes, excuse me again. You're talking to a real novice here. I have never at all attempted to take a picture with my phone. So my question is, when you described how we should, place our elbow somewhere and level the phone the best we could, am I to assume that you can then give a command to your phone and say, take picture?
No,
or
the easiest way to do it, if you're in the iPhone camera app, either one of your volume controls will take a picture. So if you're holding your phone and you've got it landscape, hold it so that the volume controls are up, and then you can hold it, you can put your thumbs under your phone, so you've got your index fingers up on the top of your phone, and you can use your index finger on your volume up control, and that's how you can take a picture.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
We'll take
I thought I had to swipe until it said
No, you don't have to do that at all. Just use your volume control and that will take the picture.
Well, that helps a lot. Thank you.
Judy, it's Linda. I actually do have a question. You mentioned when we spoke to you a while back about a device that holds your checks. Well, the device that holds your phone to take a picture. Can you just mention that to everyone?
Sure. I was using my banking app to deposit checks. And it was, the apps are very smart, and they will focus on the check, and they'll actually take the picture when the check is in the right place. So I was trying just to put the phone on the check and then lift it up. It was taking me like 30 minutes to deposit a check. I said, this is not good. This has got to be a better way to do it. And then I saw this device where a guy in Vermont had created a, he calls it the low vision tablet stand. And he made it, it's, and the website is lvtabletstand.com. And he made this device to hold really iPads for people with low vision, so they didn't have to lean over and look down at their iPad. They could kind of hold it up at eye level. Well, this is a 3D printed stand that has a base and has a stand, and it can hold an iPhone or an iPad. And so I started talking to him about my idea of an accessory for depositing checks. And it was really fun because he totally got what I was trying to do and got what I was needed. But we went through 3 prototypes altogether before we found one that really worked well, because this thing that he made is let me see if I can describe it. I'm going to get it in my hand just because it's easier. So it's a rectangle. You know what it looks like? It looks like a part of a Kleenex box. The 2 ends and the floor of a Kleenex box. That's exactly what it looks like. And so it's made so that you can scan either a small check or a large check, because for a larger check the camera has to be further away. So you put the camera in the tablet stand itself, and then you use this device to position the check and line the check up in just the right way. And if you position everything in the same way every time, the phone in the right position, the check in this little holder in the right position, and then line it up, and you know how your check apps want it. I can deposit a check now in about 30 seconds, and it's really, really fun, and it works really well.
Thank you for sharing that. Lowvisiontabletstand.com.
lvtabletstand.com.
Okay.
And you can either an accessory to his LV tablet stand, or you can just buy the whole kit, but it works well.
Any other questions?
So I want to tell you about my new book. And I'd also welcome any ideas that any of you guys have. I've written a lot of books about technology and how to do things. And my goal really here is, just to make life easier, make these tools work for us, make these tools something that we can use to get like depositing checks and all the other things we do with our iPhones and phones, and make it work. But this next book that I'm doing has to do with the working title. This may not be the actual title when I'm all done with it in April, but the working title currently is Designing Documents for Appearance, Using a Screen Reader to Make Eye-Catching Newsletters, Flyers, Invitations, and so forth. So the idea is to talk about kind of design principles and things like white space and fonts and balance and all this stuff that, it is, I think we all kind of know that if we're putting together a newsletter or a flyer, you can't just have texts and headings. You have to have sidebars, and maybe a little color and different size fonts and make some things stand out. And there's a lot of kind of visuals that go into making documents these days. And it's really hard for us those of us who aren't looking at it, to really understand how a printed or even a document that's viewed on screen, how that interacts with people who are actually looking at it. And they definitely expect it to look more than boring. maybe that should be my title, more than boring. So anyway, I've just started to work on this new book that talks about all that stuff. And I'm not sure if there's a whole lot of people who want to know this or not, but I think it'll be kind of fun. I'd also very much welcome anybody who has any ideas on topics that you would find interesting, or something that you would like to know how to do, especially with your phone or with your computer that you're finding difficult, that I might be able to help with.
We have a couple of questions, and on your topic, Judy, about your new book and visually putting everything out, are you going to cover like different accessibility features and how?
I'm going to cover using a screen reader to like, let's say you want to query your document. You don't know, where am I on the page? Where this text box I just made? How big is it? How big is the text that's inside it? I'm going to cover how to find that kind of thing out.
Interesting. Okay, we have a few questions. Stacy?
Well, one I have a statement and one I have a question. The statement is the one app you can use is Microsoft Publisher, which isn't with JAWS.
I've tried. I haven't used Microsoft Publisher in a while, but I have used it on occasion.
I know it does work with JAWS because I've played with it.
Yes, it does. But for this particular book, I'm going to use Word because a lot more people have it.
Also, another one is it is very confusing, the colors. I know that for a fact, because you can't tell what color it is on the screen sometimes. So it's like, then you got to print it, and I'm like, okay. And then and that's how you can tell that the cartridge needs to be changed, because everything comes out green.
Well, you can ask JAWS what color is at the cursor.
No, I mean when it prints out.
Yeah.
Like, say the background is yellow and green and a little bit of white, and say the dog is black and brown. Well, I did that one time and everything came out green. That's how I found out, oh, you need to change your color cartridge.
Yeah.
Well, Christina, thanks, Stacy. Christina.
Judy, what was about JAWS? You can ask about the print colors. Is that with the insert F5, right? Is that what you're talking about?
You can. I think it's insert F, and it'll tell you.
Okay. Topic for your book. What about doing videos? How to take videos?
There's quite a lot about videos in the latest photography book.
Okay.
There's a whole chapter on taking videos, and then also, excuse me, there's a whole chapter, a section on editing videos, because it's actually pretty easy on your iPhone to edit a video. Excuse me. And also using accessories to stabilize your phone while you're taking a video.
Could you get them from the low vision tablet place or no?
No.
Oh.
Amazon.
Good old Amazon.
Excuse me. I need to get some water.
Go ahead. So the tablets, the low vision tablet stand. So it's lvtabletstand.com. That was for the check.
Right.
And then Amazon, she had said, for the other.
For the videos. And I have one more question to ask her.
Okay, I will not take you out of line, Christina.
Okay, so do you want me just to?
You're not back yet, so give her a chance to get some
Yeah.
water.
Okay.
You want to sing while she gets some water or something?
Oh.
Okay, I'm back. Thank you. I survived.
I have one more question. On Instagram, do you know how that we can get to read the story part or to get to the story part on, you know what I'm, you know, it's because it's on the top?
I do not.
Oh.
You know, Instagram's
I
getting
think
better.
Instagram could be a whole other tech talk.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I used Instagram when I was working on one of my photography books, and when they just wanted square pictures, but it's evolved so much since then.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, we have Anne Marie C.
I, you know, I'm noticing with the names here that we have so many Northeast chapter and Sports and Rec NFB members. Please tell us about the book you just did with Bonnie O'Day, or recently did with Bonnie O'Day, about health and fitness resources.
Oh, the fitness book. Yes. That's a really nice book. It's called Your Personal Path to Fitness, Finding What Works for You. And there are chapters in there about things you can do at home with relatively simple equipment, like stability balls and resistance bands and things like that. Very inexpensive, but very effective equipment. And it gives some sample exercises and resources where you can find more. There's a chapter about getting involved in your community that Bonnie wrote. She's more social than I am, so she does all this community stuff, and about, you know, if you want to go to a gym, even about, you know, that conversation you're going to have with the gym when you first go. And then there's a couple of chapters on fitness apps on your iPhone that are accessible, getting fitness skills with your Alexa device and your Google Home device, whichever one you happen to have. There's a whole bunch of skills and things that you can use with those devices. And then there's a couple of resources chapters on one on just kind of Zoom links and Zoom resources and activities you can do and join. And then there's a list of organizations and what they do and where they are. So it's a really very, very packed 1-volume Braille book.
Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm.
We have a question, Wendy. Wendy?
Yes, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good.
Okay. Still pretty new to the vision limitations that I have. I know with my iPhone, I can dictate a text or an email. Could you please help me learn what I need to do to be able to dictate into my Microsoft Surface?
Ooh, I'm afraid that is beyond the scope of this call, but what I would suggest to you is get the phone number for the Microsoft Answer Desk. Okay. I can actually give it to you. I think I have it in my phone. But these are people that you can call who it's a Microsoft service, and you can ask them to help you with things, and they can log on to your computer and fix things, but they can also tell you how to do stuff. And if you're good at explaining what it is you need, they're very good at helping you figure out how to do it.
Microsoft Answer Desk?
Microsoft Answer Desk. Hold on. I actually, if I can find my phone.
Thank you very much.
I will tell you the phone number because they're amazing. And here's my phone. I have an Apple Watch, and I think that besides telling me what time it is, the thing I do the most with my Apple Watch is find my phone. It's the best. It's the best. It's the best thing.
That's good.
It's a great. What's the phone number for Microsoft Accessibility?
The phone number for Microsoft is +1703236.
No, that's not the right. That's the old Microsoft store that's closed. What's the phone number for Microsoft Answer Desk?
One option I see is Microsoft on South Hay Street.
All right, forget it. I have to do this in a different way, but I will. I can do it pretty quickly.
Sounds like you have the iPhone 12. As I heard Face ID.
It's a 13 Pro.
eBay, 44 minutes. Calendar, Wednesday, contacts.
So I'm going to go into my contacts
Section index. Groups.
and go to the section index
C, D, E, F,
and
G, A, I,
switch
J,
down
K,
to
L,
M.
Margaret Manuel, Dan, Heather, Tom, Manj, Scott, Suma, Dean, Kathy, Natalie, Mike, Mark, Barb, Casey, Matthew, Chris, Matthew, Bill, Tim, Steve, Vic, John, Chris, Sharon McKinley, Nancy, Tom, D, Michael Miller, Roy, Karen, Mike, John, Pete, David, Harvey, Megan Miller, Oral, John, Sarah,
Miller. That's past Microsoft, isn't it? Yes, it is. Microsoft Disability Answer Desk. That's what I called it. Okay. 800-936 5900. If you call that number, they are specifically to help people who use screen readers, and they're really good.
Okay. Now, you also mentioned you have a 13. I know I've needed to upgrade my phone, but I was assaulted in 2018 and had a severe concussion, vision problems, and found out it was a traumatic brain injury. So I have not changed my phone because I'm familiar with it. It kind of scares me and adds to my anxiety to upgrade my phone. But I imagine there's newer apps or different things that could also.
What phone do you have now?
It's an iPhone and it's a 7.
Well, 7's not too terribly bad. I think the time when you absolutely should change your phone is when it no longer runs the current operating system. And right now your phone will still run the current operating system.
Right. Every once in a while, like it shuts down or is causing some problems that I haven't seen before. But I have so many pictures there, and I loved what you had to say. I've always been interested in photography, and I take pictures to help me remember things because I look back and I see them. But that kind of helps my memory.
Mm-hmm. I understand. But I think that when you do get a new phone, it's the longer you wait, the bigger leap it's going to be. And a new phone will certainly have a better camera and so forth. But as long as you can do most of what you need to do, it should be fine for things like email and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Wendy. Okay, we have a few more questions. Debbie.
Did you say Debbie?
I did.
Okay. Hi, Judy. Thank you so much for this presentation. I love all the information about taking pictures because the iPhone is the only way that I've been able to take pictures after trying many, many cameras that I wound up giving away or throwing away. But so I really appreciate all the information about taking pictures. But my question pertains to fitness. I'm looking for something that I can purchase to measure my heart rate, while exercising without spending the money for an Apple Watch. Do you have any suggestions?
I think you can do it with a Fitbit. And the Fitbit app is pretty accessible. People who have Fitbits really like them, and I believe they're quite a lot cheaper than an Apple Watch.
Okay.
There's a lot of different models, so you might want to talk to a Fitbit owner to find out which model is best. But
okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have another question. We have actually two more questions for this moment. Last four digits, 3018.
Yes, this is Joanne.
Okay. Oh, Joanne. Go ahead, Joanne.
I just wanted to get that phone number again for Microsoft.
I have it. I'll repeat it. It is 800-936-5900.
It's the Disability Answer Desk.
936
5900.
5900. Okay.
Thank you. Oh, that's
Thank
it,
you very
Joanne?
much. Yes,
Hey, Lori.
thank you.
Thank you, Judy, for being with us tonight.
Sure.
With taking pictures with the camera app, the photo app with voiceover, I love the relabeling feature with the 2-finger double tap and hold. And I've been using that for years. And then the artificial intelligence and machine learning is great with telling you what's sometimes in the pictures, as you indicated. And sometimes it's a little off. And
Yes.
sometimes you can do it. You can do the 3-finger tap and you can hear one thing. You can go in the all photos and be flicking through and it'll say a different thing, different time. They've recently messed that up with iOS 15.2. I think it started in December after Christmas. Haven't been taking much pictures during the COVID, but took a picture to document, what it was, and it doesn't work anymore. So I know of two other things. The caption feature under the more information.
Right.
But then recently learned of, but it's very tedious, using the markup and the description.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a particular preference well, I like the relabel voiceover feature best, but it's not working. Which one consistently works? And
I don't. I know that's not working. Have you? Make sure you talk to Apple Accessibility, because the more people who let them know when there's a problem, the better.
Oh, I did. I got it documented. They were able to recreate it and
good.
Escalating it.
Yes, I've heard
in
that.
December.
I've heard that too. But just because somebody has reported it, everybody reports it. It really helps. But I don't have a good alternative for you. I mean, we just wait for the next version of iOS and hope it's fixed.
I did find the markup add and then description and add the text and backing out, done. That one sticks and it works all over the place. It's just that it's very tedious to do it. Okay, thank you.
You can continue, Judy. I'll look quiet for now.
What was that?
No other questions are on the floor.
All right. Well, and it's 8 o'clock.
Wait, one question has popped up. Christina.
Judy, all the books are available on National Braille Press, right?
That's right. Yes. They're available in hard copy Braille, in electronic Braille, in Word, and in Daisy.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you.
Any other suggestions for upcoming books for Judy to work on?
If you think of something, let me know. I'm always looking for new ideas.
Well, no other questions?
Oh, Judy, do you know when the book is going to be finished, this latest book?
The latest book is, I'm going to finish it in early April, but it'll be out probably like early to mid-June. They want to have it done for the conventions.
Oh, great.
What is Daisy?
Daisy is a way that a book is marked up. It's audio, and it's but it's navigable, so you can go back and forth between headings and so forth.
Interesting. Thank you.
There you go. That's a topic for your for an upcoming session about Daisy.
We haven't done
Do you know
that in a
any
while.
experts on that?
And Anne Marie can tell you about that.
We have another question before we move
I
on.
can tell you who's an expert.
Right. Anne Marie can tell you who's an expert.
We'll be in touch, Anne Marie. Terry Ann.
Yes,
you have a question.
If we want to get in touch with you with suggestions or whatever, what is the best way to do that?
My email address is Judy, Judy, at Judy Dixon, JUDYDIXON.net. So it's Judy at JudyDixon.net.
Easy enough. Yep. Thanks.
That is easy.
You may be flooded with a lot of suggestions. Any other questions or comments for Judy? Okay. Well, Judy,
thank you very much.
Gave some
Thank
wonderful,
you.
some very good pieces of information between the tablet stand and the rotor. Getting that rotor for the camera app and everything. It was wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, for being with us tonight on Tech Talks.
Thank you. All right. Take care.
Everyone, our audience, thank you for being with us.
Good night.
And just remember to join our VLANJ Facebook page for Tech Talks. And you'll have a lot of good information on there, including information from tonight's program, and join us for our next Tech Talk on Wednesday, March 23rd. So good night, everyone.
Good night.
And stay well.
Yes, thank you so much for doing these. They're wonderful.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Be well and safe, everybody.
Good night, Northern, Northeast, Sports and Rec.
Linda or Elsa?
Yes.
Do you think you could post that Windows answer desk phone number on the Tech Talk page?
Sure, I'll take care of that, Deb.
Thank you.
No problem.
You said the next TED Talk is March 23rd?
I believe that is the fourth Wednesday of March.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because that's
28 days from now.
My birthday.
It's March 23rd.
You join us for your birthday, Alicia. That'll be perfect.
Oh, join us. We'll sing happy birthday to you via everybody in the Zoom room.
Nice.